Hello and welcome to WVIA Learn at Home. My name is Rebecca Gibney and I am a curriculum and online learning specialist at Blast Intermediate Unit 17.
And I am Alexandra Koncer-Groshinsky. I am the STEM Services Coordinator at NEIU 19.
My name is Stephanie Williams, and I am in IT operations, and I am STEM support at IU 19. So today we are going to talk about apps, not just app creation, but also app development and what goes into making a good app. A lot of people have a lot of ideas for apps, but is it a good idea? Can it be created, and will people actually need them? So those are some of the things that you need to take into consideration before you even go into the ideas of coding an app or making an app. So there's a little bit of homework that you have to do before you start. So today on Really Big Fish Tank, we are all about apps. And I don't mean appetizers. So let's find out where apps actually started from. So in 1983, Steve Jobs envisioned the App Store. That's when he first thought, I can have a store where all of these little bits of software, these little bits of apps, for lack of a better term, are available for people to download and purchase. And then in 1997, the Nokia 6110 included Snake. Snake was a game, and Nokia decided to include it on one of their phones so that people could play it when they were standing in line or just sitting around. Then when the first iPod was introduced, Solitaire and Brick were also introduced on them or sent along with them. So what ended up happening is that people got used to seeing these small bits of software on devices that they were purchasing. Then in 2001, iTunes was launched. When iTunes launched, it changed everything. It changed everything about how we purchase music. It changed everything to how we listen to music. That was a really, really big jump, and it got us as consumers used to purchasing online components, and that component being music. So when we were all purchasing our music, we were actually kind of getting ready for, basically 2007 when the first smartphone is introduced. We were used to that idea of going to an area where we can purchase things to put on that device. So that was when the App Store was launched, and it was launched with 500 apps on it. So when you think about how far we've come to the first App Store with just 500 apps to 3 different app stores with millions of apps on it, it's happened in a very, very, when you think about it, short amount of time. This didn't take, hundreds of years for this to evolve. This was maybe 30 years. So it's very, very short amount of time that everything has actually kind of come to fruition. So what I want to make sure that we know how to do is I want to make sure that we know where apps come from and we know what makes a good app. So we have several different entrepreneurs tonight that are going to pitch us their app ideas. So on Really Big Fish Tank, we are going to talk to our first entrepreneur, who is a navel gazer, and she believes she has a solution that we've all been waiting for. May I introduce SS Gibney.
Welcome to Really Big Fish Tank, SS Gibney. What's your idea?
Hello, thank you for taking the time to listen to my ideas. So my idea I'd like to pitch, my app, is called Navel Gazer. And it is I don't know about you, but I have this obsession with belly buttons. But there's only one problem, is that belly buttons can have lint in there. So this app, Navel Gazer, it works just like when you would do your fingerprint and the phone reads your fingerprint. You would put the phone to your belly button and it would scan your belly button and tell you how much of your belly button is consumed by lint and where to find it to clean it out, and give you instructions on how to clean it. I mean, do you want to try?
I think, well, let me ask some questions before we try that. This is definitely a unique idea. I can't say that I know of any apps in the App Store that have this particular functionality. Have you asked anyone around? Have you done any market research to see if this would be something that people would want to download off of the App Store, that people would want to buy? Have you done any research?
I mean, no, but I need it. So why
Have,
one's better than none.
so how so I don't know if this is really an investable product if we're only going to have one sale. If you are not sure who's going to be buying this, I think that might be a problem. Have you done any of that research at all?
I mean, no, because I need it. So why not? If I need it, I mean, there's other people that might need it. Think about it.
So
How
we
many
would
times
be
there's infection if they don't clean that lint out, maybe.
okay. Steph, maybe you should share maybe an example of another app and how many sales they might have had, kind of what
Uh,
we're looking for.
okay, SS Gibney. I'm going to throw a name out there of a very popular app. Do you know Angry Birds?
Yeah.
Okay, so Angry Birds was developed in 2009, and over the time span that it was released, it was downloaded 3 billion times. So Angry Birds, even though it was a free download, there was a lot of stuff that went into it as far as being marketable. They were able to do ads in it, which generated revenue. They also, believe it or not, ended up franchising it and having movie deals with it. So this was a very, very marketable app, to the tune of 3 billion people.
I mean, that's a lot, but I mean, if you think about it, it started with one.
uh,
I'm your one.
so is your app fun? Because Angry Birds is fun, right? It's one of the reasons we enjoy it. It has a little bit of strategy with it. I mean, I know I don't believe your lint scanner is a game, but how is it going to appeal to people?
Well, I mean, don't you check your belly button to clean lint?
Well, and part of this, I think, is, SS Gibney, this is something that's unique to your own circumstance, and I can't name anyone that I know of that's ever had belly button lint problems or belly button problems at all, for that matter, and it's not really something that we that as a group kind of have in my circle of friends. And I don't know, it seems like Stephanie doesn't really have anybody that she knows, or she's never really had belly button lint problems. And so because we don't have an area of expertise of this nature, we're both out. And so we are not going to get anyone to invest in you today, but we're going to give you some advice maybe on how you can do a little bit more market research and try to find out whether or not this app would really be a popular app like Angry Birds. So let me just show you here.
I'm also going to bring one thing in. Where do you envision this being used? Do you envision it being used in the shower?
I mean, the shower, on the couch when you're watching TV and bored in commercials or something.
Because usually when you're dealing with this topic, you're usually in the shower, taking a shower. And is water conducive to an electronic device? So that's another consideration to take into with this, let alone what Lexi's going to go into with us.
A very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
developing a waterproof cover for your electronic device and selling it along with the app, perhaps. But just talking about the idea of knowing your audience, right? So we all have ideas that we think are marketable and that we think might turn ourselves into a product or a business. And I think part of what you're having trouble explaining to us as possible investors in your presentation is whether or not your idea is marketable. Do you know your audience? Who would benefit from this app? How many of them are there? What age group are they? And then whether or not they would actually be interested in buying an app, or if there are other tools on the market that do the job as well as your app does. So is it marketable? Can you sell it? Will people buy it? And as an investor, as a possible investor, I need to know that I'm going to get return on my investment. So I need to know that this app is actually going to sell and sell well. Does it appeal to a lot of people? Have you researched? Do you know the groups of people that would benefit from this app? And are they interested in buying something like this? Is it something they need? Or is it a need that you see in your community that is a problem that needs to be solved? Or is it something that your audience has said that they want or that they're demanding? So unless you have done all of that research before I can invest in your product, you're going to need to be able to tell us that before we can. But thank you for coming to Really Big Fish Tank. I believe you have a possible idea, but you're going to have to do some more research to perfect it.
Well, thank you for your time, but I do think you're missing out, and I hope that next time you see a piece of lint in your belly button, you think of Navel Gazer and the opportunity that you missed. But I will take into consideration everything that you said. Thank you.
Oh, I can guarantee we'll think about it.
Hello, and welcome to Really Big Fish Tank. What's your app idea?
Hello, thank you for having me. My idea is a hair creator. And basically what my consumers will do is they'll download this app on their phone. It will scan their face, and based on their preferences and what they, how they live their life, it will give them ideas of how to cut their hair and bonus feature instructions on how to do it at home.
I really like this idea, Stephanie. It seems very marketable, especially during this time when many people don't have the ability to go to the hairdresser because of stay-at-home orders and the like. What is going to be your price point for this?
Free. I mean, who can really purchase things right now?
So you're coming into Really Big Fish Tank with the idea that you want us to invest in this. Is there a way that you anticipate getting income from this app?
Oh, most definitely. So they would use this app. It would be free to download. The hidden cost would be that every time they give us more information, the closer they want to get to perfection, the more they have to pay.
Okay, so if they have to put in that they have eyes a certain shape, a nose that's a certain shape, a face that's a certain shape, every time they put something like that in, they have to pay to have that information in the app?
Yeah, but remember, they don't know that when they first sign up. And I mean, look, I'm a walking product of my app.
I was going to ask you if you use your own app.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Oh, I have a little bit of trepidation in getting involved in this investment. And the trepidation that I have, and maybe you can convince me to invest in your product, is how much will a typical user have to fork out in order to get a true understanding of the functionalities of this app? If I want to have a full access to all of the different features of this app, how much am I going to be paying after all of that?
Well, I mean, it'll cost them. We have to make money, I know, but I mean, the closer they want to get to perfection, it's going to be a price.
I think
So are we talking $50? Are we talking $20? Like, what are we nickel and diming the individual who downloads this app and uses it?
I think that sounds like a great idea, the nickel and diming,
Ooh, okay.
Oh, well, one
We
of
can
the
discuss
things
that.
and so we will discuss that because this is an excellent time to discuss that. If I'm going to be investing in your app, which you have a product that I could invest in, and your profit model is to continue to charge the user additional fees more and more as they go on, I worry about how they're going to rate the app in the App Store, which is how it really rises to the top of the list as a recommendation for users that are looking for that type of app. many of the frustrated folks on the App Store that leave reviews that are 1 star or 0 star are because this has happened to them. So I worry about that. I'm wondering, since I'm not interested in investing, Stephanie, are you interested in investing?
Not with the in-app purchasing.
So because that's how you have it structured, I'm wondering if maybe you'd be interested, since we're both out, if you'd be interested in kind of thinking about the pricing structure that you have and listening to some feedback from us.
I mean, yeah, but you got to hurry because I've got a haircut to give using my app. But I'll listen.
All right. Well,
Well,
I think we're both out, and I think you need to do a little bit more research on price point and pricing your app in relationship to what it is.
mm-hmm. I think you need to know what that type of, there are other haircut apps out on the market. Yours isn't the only one. And although it may be something that's unique and more beneficial than maybe what is else on the market, that's fine. Because I do think people will buy it. But I think you need to find out how much your similar items, so your competition, sells their apps for on the market and kind of price yours accordingly. The risk that you run when you're pricing an app in this way is that overall cumulative total, if that is larger than what most other apps charge you up front to download that are similar, you're not going to get anyone to buy it, and you're going to get some negative reviews on the App Store because of those hidden costs. So typically something that's overpriced will push sales down. And so you want to make sure that your price is in line with other things that are similar in nature. And if you're underpricing it, like you are intending to do, at least from the outset, and you're doing that 0, it's free kind of teaser, or to get people to download it, and then they find out later on and are surprised in the process of just how much this is actually going to cost them, then that leads to suspicions for folks that if all the other apps on the market are $5.99, for example, and yours is 0, one of the things they're going to wonder is, well, why is it 0? What's going on here? And so what we would recommend you do is go back and do some more research and find out what you need to do to price it right. But Thank you for coming on Really Big Fish Tank.
Yep. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Oh, who do we have next?
So our next entrepreneur is someone who has a really great app also. This is an app that will find the perfect puppy for you.
Oh, so, great.
Yeah, and that's a big commitment. So someone who can develop an app that would, take into consideration different aspects of your family and different makeups of your family, how active you are, that would be a great app to have.
Well, hello and welcome to Really Big Fish Tank. What's your app idea?
Hi, I'm really glad that you brought that up, Stephanie, because I do think we have a great market, and a lot of people want puppies, especially right now in this time. So my app will allow the consumers to type in, what they're looking for, how active they are, how many children maybe they have, what size dog they prefer or puppy. And then it will tell them, sort of like Matchmaker, which puppy would best fit their lifestyle. And then it can even go a step further and help them find the puppies located in a certain radius from them.
So I am super interested in this. And I might even want to do a deal with 2 Really Big Fish for this plan, because I think we both look like we're very interested. The only thing that we would need to see before we sign on the dotted line and invest with your idea is we'd like to experience the app. So do you have the app to show us?
No. I didn't know I needed the app. I have it all up here, the idea. So you guys would create it.
You don't have an app to show us to try?
No, just the idea.
Well, I don't know about you, Stephanie, but that changes my eagerness to invest in this particular pitch.
I agree. While you have a great idea, we really need to have a prototype here.
Okay, well, can you explain to me what a prototype even is?
Oh,
absolutely.
I'd be happy to come back with one.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. So having a great idea is a good idea, but being able to show proof of concept is even better if we're going to invest here at Really Big Fish Tank in your idea, in order to pitch to us, you do have to have something that we can hold in our hands and that we can try.
So that's a prototype, like an example?
You should have
Mhm.
at least a proof of concept to show your audience and
Okay.
something that functions. So we should be able to actually create a fake profile or create a sample profile and go through the steps that you would go through to get yourself to the point where you're ready to adopt a pet. And then we would be able to see your app functionality, the different screens, the different choices that you might have as a typical user, so that we can get a sense of kind of what the user experience would be.
Okay.
All
right.
So, yeah, do you even know how to go about possibly developing an app?
No, but I have a little bit of time to learn. Right now I have on my checklist, prototype.
Well, we would love to talk to you about that. So if you're planning on doing that, we have some resources for you.
Oh, great.
So I'm going to go over some key factors that you have to keep in mind before you even go into the development that we've also talked about here. You have the idea, so you've got, check that off the list. You've already generated the idea for the app, you're good to go. I would suggest you do some market research. So make sure that this is an app that people want, that people will use. I envision this app being very, very marketable. Also, when you start to do the development of the app, or even before you get to that point, write out the features of your app. So make sure you know how this is going to work. Is it going to have the name of the app at something as minor as, is the name of the app going to be at the top of the screen? How does it function? How do people work through it? How do they enter their information? That type of thing. Write those features out. Also, make up mock-up designs of your app. So on the front end, what that person who's using it is going to experience. Is it going to take me, once I put 3 bits of information in and I hit submit, is it going to take me to another screen? Is it going to take me farther down into the app? So those are some of the things you need to think about. Also, you're going to want to do a little graphic design on your app. Figure out how it's going to look. Figure out what the icon in the store is going to look like. When you think of different apps that are out there, their little icon is very, very, you remember it. You know what it is. So think about that when you're also looking at the app's graphic design and the design throughout the app. You need to put together a marketing plan. And then once all that's done, you need to build the app. So we have several different options on how to build your app. One of them for the iOS platform is using Swift Development Code with Xcode. So that's your emulator, and that's what you need to have in order to do any kind of iOS apps. And again, iOS are basically Mac apps. The Android developer, those are strictly for Android apps. So you would go in there, and actually that one I believe is a little bit of a drag and drop option where you can actually pull your information that you want in and then use their emulator to output it. Same thing with the App Inventor, also Android. Glide is also Android, and so is Visual Studio. So you can see there's a lot of options out there for the Android platform.
Yeah,
and then
I wrote those down so I can go search them in the future, right? So
yeah.
Thank you. And I will come back to you guys with some ideas and some further things. But anyways, that wraps up our show for today. And thank you for joining us here at Learn at Home on WVIA. Have a great rest of your day.